the greatest moment in my life.
Hey, yo!
Caught mid-puff. Look at that. You look like a hairy Goldberg coming out of it.
A hairy gold. My beard is looking magnificent, mate. Look at this. I got this new oil for it and a new brush and everything. It's fantastic.
It looks like a cat.
Like a cat.
Yeah.
Very long, isn't it? Because that's my chin there. Look. So that's all. That's all beard.
That's
Look at
all...
that. Look at that. I've actually got really quite a small face, haven't I? Because it goes from there to there. So I've got a big forehead, a small face, and a long beard. It extends my head.
Amazing.
Well, I have. If you look at it from
What a
eyebrows
start to
down,
the show.
that's quite a small face, isn't it? Really,
It is.
it's weirdly small.
Yeah, I mean, if you were ever on a photo fit for a crime, you'd be easy to pick out.
I'd have a big forehead, like that image of you as Dizzy Egg on Twitter, courtesy of Pig Splatters the other night.
Yeah, I'm fuming at that. I told the wife that, and she laughed. She laughed a lot.
As she should, mate. As she should, indeed, as she should. We have loads to get through once again on this show. First of all, a Royal Rumble. Well, not first of all. That'll be the end of the show.
That's quite last of all.
That's last of all, a Royal Rumble. So a match that lasts nearly an hour to cover. We have a huge non-wrestling topic. A couple of people we want to talk about that maybe are a bit unsavory. And we have Mags v. Sai with somebody who is definitely not unsavory. Quizmaster Sharon, who we will see very, very, very shortly. But before we get there, I suppose we better get on with the show, Mr. Mags, hadn't we?
We better.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live, an SJP World Media production. I am Sai, and with me, as always, is... What are you pointing at?
I was pointing at you.
Pointing at me. All right. Yeah. And with me, as always, is the animal to my need for paracetamol because I'm old and I ache. The torn
that
quad.
was raw.
Was it really animal paracetamol? Kind of rhymes. That works. Yeah? No? Okay. The torn quad to my dad bod. That works.
That definitely does work.
Okay, we'll have that one. A podcaster that, just like Vinnie Mac at the end of the 2005 Royal Rumble, often finds himself with his face waist height in front of two sweaty men. The podfather himself, Lord Mags. How are we doing, sir?
Yeah, and don't forget having 2 or 3 referees hanging around. So, yeah.
True.
Me and Vince are exactly the same. Apart from the millions and millions of dollars and the multiple sexual assault claims and so not a lack in the slightest.
Not really. No. I know who I would much rather spend time with, my friend. Don't you worry about that. And it is definitely Vince. Shall we see who's in the chat, Maggie? Who has joined us early doors?
We shall. King's Pig's Bladder, christened this week the Photoshop Wizard. He's given us a very poignant speech on the eve of the local elections. He says, we shall go on to the end. We shall fart in France. Well, unless you get stuck at Dover. Obviously, you can't really get there. But we shall fart on the seas and the oceans. We shall fart with a growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island whatever the cost may be. We shall fart on the beaches. We shall fart on the landing grounds. We shall fart in the fields and the streets. We shall fart in the hills. We shall never surrender. Really kind of like setting the scene and the tone for the rest of the show. I feel there Indeed. With a battle cry. Thankfully, Sharon comes in and calms the situation down with, it's Monday night. You know what that means. And then King's Pigs Bladder's back in again saying, good evening, CWF. And he'll try again, evening, CWF. And then Charlie's just joined to say, I've joined to Daddy saying I've got a small face. Weird.
I have got quite a small face. But
it is quite, it's a dainty face. Not small,
thanks,
dainty.
Yeah. Yours is quite small. But it's hidden well.
It's quite small and egg-shaped.
Yeah, it's hidden well because it's very circular, your head, isn't it? Very round.
No, it's egg-shaped. I'm happy with the Disney comparison. And a late entrant to the chat is Connor. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, Connor. Quick shout out to our good friend Dan Griffin, who is currently a little bit poorly and under the weather. So hopefully you are better very, very soon, my friend. My thoughts are with you, as I'm sure everyone else in the CWF thoughts are too. But as we said, Magsy, we want to get on with the show, don't we? We need to crack on because we're a busy set of bees this evening. Is it a set of bees? What's the plural for bees, or at least a couple of bees? Hive seems too grand for just two bees.
Two bees, or not two bees, perhaps. we are busy bees. Let's start the show.
Mags. Soy. Mags. Soy.
Mags v Soy.
Moo.
I always forget about that moo, and it always surprises me.
Quiz Master Sharon, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you both?
Very good.
I'm quite well. Expecting to extend my score on the quiz. See the side I even watched the show.
I tried to watch it
No,
over
you
the weekend
didn't.
when I went to bed. I did. I went to bed one night and put it on. I fell asleep. So probably says a lot for Spring Stampede 2000, I guess, which is the topic of this week's edition of Mags v Psy, because it's pretty much the anniversary of the show, Mags, I think you said?
On the 16th of April, 2000, it was Spring Stampede, which was 23 years ago yesterday. So I used our friends at This Week in Wrestling to find the topic.
Nice. Fair enough. So LinkedIn again. It's almost like we're professional. Well, you. Anyway.
I don't know. If I'm the professional, God help us.
Well, the message I got was, shall we do Spring Stampede 2000 as the topic for Mags v Psy this week? And I just put, why? So there we go. But that's normal format. 5 questions each. Penalty shootout-esque, I suppose. Sharon has vetted the questions to make sure we don't have any crossovers or anything the same. And whenever you're ready then, Shireen, whenever you're set to go.
Okie dokie. So, question 1 to Mr. Mags.
Here we go.
14 matches crammed onto this card.
Yeah.
How many go over 5 minutes?
Oh, not a lot. The main does. I think it's 3. I think 3.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going with 3.
You are incorrect.
Oh, I would be.
The answer is 9.
Jesus wept. A lot of time to play with did Spring Stampede. They didn't. I mean, when I watched the show, it didn't feel like there was that much time. But
a lot of them were like 5.5 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 1/4, stuff like that. But they're all pretty short. I mean, 14 matches on a show is what, 2 hours, 40 minutes, or whatever.
That's 2000's WCW though. They cram a lot of stuff in.
And for context, obviously, I've not watched the show. I find it incredibly hard finding 5 questions to ask Mags, so I fully expect to get trounced this week. But there we go.
Well, you've made a good start.
Yeah. Okay.
Starting strong. Right, Mr. Simon.
Yes.
Who is the first wrestler to be shown walking down the ramp?
Oh my goodness! See again. I didn't watch the show, but I'll just send this because this was the beginning. So is it Lex Luger? Is it a tag that opens?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, go on. I'll say Luger or Flair for the tag.
Luger or Flair?
Yeah, Luger then.
Which one?
You are incorrect.
No.
The answer is Disco Inferno.
Oh, for the tag, because he comes out with the with Vito and that, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Okay.
Sharon, yes, he definitely does. I remember that.
Disco Fever. Yeah.
Mr. Mags, question number 2. Terry Funk wins the WCW Hardcore title here. Funk had a record 3 title reigns. Who also held this title 3 times?
So the WCW Hardcore Champion, I think it's Big Vito. I remember him being in that scene quite a lot, so I'm going to go with Big Vito.
You are incorrect.
Oh, Jesus.
The answer is Brian Knobbs.
What?
Yeah. Brian Knobbs and Terry Funk both had 3 title reigns. The belt,
Wow.
do you know, it only existed for like less than a year, I think, that division.
Yeah, didn't it get turned into the shit title as well for part of that?
What do you mean, the shit title?
The Saskatchewan Hardcore International title.
Oh, okay. I just thought you meant like shit title.
I mean, what shit?
Okie doke.
Mr. Simon.
Uh-huh.
In the match versus The Wall, how many times did Scott Steiner suplex his opponent?
Oh my word. That's one of the shorter matches, isn't it?
I was watching Mags to see if he reacted.
And I know that ends. Okay. I don't think it's going to be a massive amount. I'm going to say 3.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You are incorrect.
Oh,
The
man.
answer is once.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you realise that's now 7 questions each over the last 2 editions of Magic Site that we've got wrong?
You'd almost think we knew about wrestling.
We are fucking rubbish at this. Why do we do this?
Dear Lord. Mr. Mags.
Hello.
Who were the WCW Tag Team Champions before all the titles were vacated for this event?
Was it Totally Buff? No, it weren't, because they end up being enemies, I think. I'm going to say it was Palumbo and Jindrak and O'Hare. I think were they there then? Yeah, I'll go with that. Jindrak and O'Hare.
You are incorrect.
Oh.
The answer is the Harris brothers.
Who does DOA?
Yeah.
Jesus, where WCW would just give a title to absolutely anybody.
They would, indeed. Well, Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Mr. Simon.
Yes.
During his bout against Sting, Booker T does the infamous Spinaroonie. But what wrestling move does Booker T do just before the Spinaroonie?
It'll help that you watched it.
Yeah, of course. Fuck. I do. It's just going to be absolute potluck. So I'm thinking, is heel kick at the bookend, the drop kick he uses? I'm going to go with the big heel kick.
You are incorrect.
What a fucking surprise.
The answer is the flapjack.
Oh, okay. Right. That would have been my 4th or 5th guess, yeah.
Good job you get 4 or 5 chances.
Exactly.
We might have to start doing that just to make this a bit more like challenging.
And that sigh coughing his guts up.
It is.
Right, Mr. Mags. The Cruiserweight title match had many people involved.
Okay.
But can you name the 3 ladies?
So there was Daphne, Sonny, and was it Paisley? I think it's Paisley. So Yeah, they're the three, I think. Yeah, I'll go with that. Final answer.
Well, I said this for a while, but you are correct.
Oh, game over already.
Oh, brilliant. Right, Mr. Simon.
Yeah.
What is the shortest match on the card?
Oh my word. What time, or have I got to give the competitors?
Not the match.
The match.
People in the match.
Can I not just give you how long the match was? Because I think I know that.
I mean, you can give that. You won't. You can give it for pride, I suppose. But
I think the shortest match was 2 minutes 36 seconds.
okay.
I don't know why that sticks in my mind. If that is correct, that is really strange. But I don't know who was in it. It's not okay.
No.
It's not. Fucking hell. Oh my goodness. Steiner versus the Wall. Was that it?
Is that your answer?
Yeah, go on.
You are incorrect.
Damn it! I was so confident too.
The answer is Hatley Heat 2000.
That's
versus...
a spell. That's.
I thought that.
That's
Harlem.
Harlem.
Is it really the Harlem Heat match?
Yeah, 2 minutes 41.
I thought Mankai versus Jimmy Hart. That's just popped in my head then.
Yeah,
I thought
that was the next one. I think about 11 seconds longer.
Right. Okay. Oh dear, Magsy, you can put this to bed, mate. You can put this to bed if you get this correct. I can only salvage a draw.
Mr. Mags.
Hello.
To within 100 people either way, what was the reported attendance at this event?
What are you taking the piss? I never look at the attendance. There's only one person who looks at the attendances on anything that we do, and it's you.
Well, hang on. What do you mean, am I taking the piss? How many suplexes did Scott Steiner do in this? Fuck off.
Yeah, but that would be watching the event, and that you would have got that if you'd have watched. They don't ever say there is so many people attending. I'm within the what
Jim Ross says
leeway?
it all the time.
100 people.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 12,300.
Oh my word, that is so close. But
I forgot
That's so close.
Oh, you bastard!
You haven't, but that is insanely close. The answer is 12,556.
Oh, I am impressed with myself just getting that close.
Yeah, very close indeed. I could pull this out to be another draw then. It's not going to happen, but I could.
Mr. Simon.
Yeah.
In the hardcore title match, what was the first foreign object that Norman Smiley used?
Trash can lid.
You are incorrect.
Brilliant.
The answer is the mixer spray tap.
The what?
So when the match starts, Norman is hid in the toilets.
WCW.
Terry Funk beats him up, and they go through like a dining area, and then Norman escapes through like a serving hatch into the kitchen. Terry crawls through it, and Norman sprays him with the mixer tap. That's the first offense he got in, and then he gets beat up again.
Yeah. I've seen that as well. Like I remember that, but I wouldn't have said that would have been the first, just off memory. Well, obviously not, because I said something else. So. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Mags! You win again. Oh yeah, there's my little drawing I did.
Is that a rabbit calling Mantar a prick?
Yeah, I was trying to think of questions. I doodle when I'm thinking. So yeah, that's a rabbit calling Mantar a prick.
So by the narrowest of victories again, I pull away once more.
We've got one question right in the last 10.
I mean, just for shits and giggles, I did a 6th question just in case there was some crossover. Do you think you could get that?
Probably not, but let's have a go.
Okay.
Okie doke then. Bonus question. Hogan arrived to the arena in what make and model of car?
I don't even know what model car Sharon drives. I do.
It's a very infamous WCW make of car.
Oh,
because it's not just Hogan that uses it.
Is it the white Hummer?
No. It
Is
was
it a
the
limo?
Dodge Charger.
Oh, okay, right.
The same kind of car that Goldberg uses.
Yes, he sliced his arm open on, didn't he?
Yeah, when he punched the window like a pillock.
Like a pillock. Yes, indeed. There we go then. Another gripping, exciting segment of Mags v Sci, full of ups and downs.
Just testing our encyclopedia of knowledge of wrestling.
Bloody hell. Magsy, that puts you now what? 4-1? 3-1?
I lost count. I just do it for the fun.
Yeah, let's say I do that too then. Be a lie. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us once again and being our quiz master.
Amazing as always.
Can I just do a selfish plug for a second?
No, you can't.
I was about to ask.
Thank you, then bye.
Of course you can.
I have got a cover reveal for an anthology that I am taking part in on the 20th of April. I will try and share it to Twitter because I can appreciate more of this audience is on Twitter, but any shares would be hugely appreciated.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, make sure you tag Chain Wrestling in it as well, and we will share it all over the place. I'm sure the CWF will share it everywhere as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome stuff. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter?
It's at Sharon Korea 13.
There we go. Awesome stuff. But we'll tag you and stuff anyway so people can see you. There we go.
Thanks a lot again, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
In a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye. We're shit at that, mate.
I know. It's almost like it should never be a thing.
It is, but at the same time, I think at one point there's going to be the Shawn Michaels one I did well on. So
I honestly thought that you would have that in the bag, being the WCW mark that you are.
Yeah, it's probably a bit late in the WCW timeline for me to actually know that much about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So it
so
played out to the fact that I watched it as well.
Yeah, that's it. Perhaps I should have done what you said and watched the show.
Maybe.
But, there we go, mate. There we go. Got a couple of comments in the chat, my friend. A suggestion from Connor for a phone a friend.
So we've also got Scottish Danny turning up late. Not impressed with that, Danny, but hello to you, sir. And as you said, Connor said, new segment for Mags of Sci. If neither of you know an answer, we should have Scottish Danny waiting in the wings, and you can phone him when he gives you the answer or a hint. Yeah, I mean, are you smarter than a 10-year-old style?
Yeah.
There you
go. The old millionaire phone a friend sort of thing.
We can get a kid to tell us just how stupid we are. Not that Danny's a kid. I'm just saying we could get a kid.
One of my kids would quite happily tell us how stupid we are.
As would man.
There we go. So then, Magsy, is there anything else you want to cover before we move on?
Yeah. I want to put another pimple dick forward for the CWF.
Okay.
Pimple dick alert!
Oh, a teeny weeny.
What we got?
So Ric Flair, man. He's just a douchebag, isn't he? He's just a massive douchebag, really kind of ruining his wrestling legacy. Now, as of earlier on today, he made a post on Twitter and he quickly deleted it after getting a hell of a lot of backlash. And it's regarding Steve-O Mongo McMichael. Now, obviously, Ric Flair and Steve-O go way back, part of the Four Horsemen in WCW. And unfortunately, Mongo is not having the best of time. He's incredible. Is incredibly ill. And Ric Flair went and visited him. That's amazing. The fact that Ric Flair took time out, he's obviously still a very busy person, but took time to go and visit his good friend. That's not the issue with this at all. The issue is he posted a picture of his visit, and he put on Twitter, "My friend Mongo is stronger than anyone we know." Amazingly heartfelt comment, and then you see the picture that he posted.
Okay.
And it's Mongo, obviously really ill in bed, and Ric Flair smiling and pointing. I'm assuming that's his current partner.
Don't know. I think that's somebody to do with Mongo, isn't it?
It could well be, but it just feels so inappropriate of him having a picture smiling as if he's having a whale of a time, and poor Mongo is there looking the way that he does. And just to add that little cherry on the top, if you're focusing on Ric Flair's pants, you'll see that his zip's undone.
Oh my God.
Yes. So yeah, this week's Pimple Dick is Mr. Ric Flair.
It's one of those scenarios where I think people in the public eye, some people, Flair's one of them, I suppose, but some people, I think, they need guidance, especially when they're of a certain age and they've consumed the various things they did for so many decades. It's got to warp your brain a little bit. And I think Flair's one of those that just needs a PA or a management team or something just to be a bit like, come on, Rick, because obviously I'm going to assume he means well there, but he's just bloody clueless. Yeah,
it's insensitive. It's definitely not the worst Pimple Dick we've ever had. I don't think there was any malice there.
No,
it's just the years of Ric Flair posing for photos. He just probably went into that kind of mindset. But yeah, it's just the guy Mongo. He looks like he's not got long for this world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair's there posing with a massive smile on his face and his cock out, basically.
Oh, dear me. Never mind.
But anyway.
I suppose a little update on the Mantor front, seeing as we're talking about idiots. I got told to go fuck myself by Mantor last night.
You did? You absolutely...
Oh dear. This individual is gross and vile for the comments that we discussed last week. But more has surfaced from him, including a podcast he does or a live show he does, very similar to our format, Magsy, to be fair. I think it is actually using a StreamYard setup and so on as well. And I think one of the people he does it with, there's about 3 or 4 that seem to interchange. One of the main people he does it with is actually PN News. Do you remember him?
Okay, the rapper guy.
Yeah, I think it's him as well. And one of the topics they had this week or recently was to discuss the Giselle Shaw, Rick Steiner situation. So I couldn't resist. I had a little listen because I thought this guy's going to be talking a lot of nonsense. And initially, at first, I was thinking, okay, he's not speaking out against him, but he is talking about Rick Steiner, saying he's always been a bully, he's always been an abrasive character, he's always behaved in a way that he shouldn't. And I'm thinking, okay, this has started all right.
He's then he's rolling it back a little bit.
Yeah, and then he starts on with the usual, this shouldn't happen, and the usual this. So some of the comments I don't particularly want to repeat because they're disgusting, and some of the comments on his Facebook page, his name's Mike Halleck, and he's quite public on Facebook with a lot of his opinions and thoughts and so on. And some of the comments he uses with in describing that scenario are just downright awful. References to sexuality, but bear in mind he's got nothing against any homosexuals or gays or anything. He's got gay friends, remember, and all this sort of nonsense. But it's pretty disgusting terminology he uses. So once again, I decided to call the guy out. I messaged him directly rather than confront him via his Facebook page or anything like that. And I actually got a response back again, I worded it very politely and said some people may think with these comments you're a bit transphobic, and obviously some people, I meant me, but I said this is the scenario. This is how you're coming across. Do you want to discuss this? And it came back basically with, "I'll write whatever I want, bro. Go fuck yourself." So even when called out as politely as I could to give the guy an opportunity to retract or explain his views, however he wants to try and do it, he's still a piece of shit. And King Pigsbladder is actually on Twitter earlier on was saying that it's amazing that this person can behave this way and it's not been called out before.
I think the thing with it is he is so irrelevant in today's wrestling scene that he's flying under the radar.
Yes, indeed.
Rick Steiner, as irrelevant as he is, he's still a bigger wrestling name. I mean, he gets invited to wrestling conventions. You don't see many people crying out for a Mantar appearance.
No, you don't. You don't.
So I would even suggest that we probably get more listens and downloads than he does anyway.
Well, this is the interesting thing with regards to his show and his topic and whatever they're talking and so on. It says on the description for this YouTube channel that this channel formerly had 20,000+ subscribers and all this sort of stuff before they shut us down. So obviously
shut you down for this kind of rhetoric, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also saw that there was numerous people subscribed to the channel, but very minimal views. So, and again, we don't get massive numbers here. It is what it is. I'm not sort of pointing anything out with regards to that, but there's a big following, small views. To me, that shows that people have clicked like and actually listened to a bit of it. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, the quality of the audio and the production is fucking dreadful. I struggle to listen to it.
I would even suggest that they sound like bot accounts. Then, if you've got a big following and nobody's watching, it's probably because your accounts are botted.
Okay, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, good shot. Yeah, the guy just carries on and shows no remorse for his behaviour. So
yeah,
I think
doubling down, essentially doubling down.
Yeah. I think this is something that in the future I'm going to keep half an eye on and just see what we can do, because it's disgusting and it's upsetting. I mean, I don't want to quote Mantar, but I've got gay friends, I've got trans friends, I've got people all sorts, and I think my mind instantly goes to them when you hear people talking about them in this way, referring to others with these terms, and it upsets me because I think of my friends are far stronger than I. They would probably just shrug it off and be like, "Bloke's an idiot," but I take offense to it. So maybe it is something that I'll keep an eye on, and we'll see where we go in future weeks. Maybe, Mags.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Shall we jump on then with our non-wrestling topic this week?
We shall. Let's do it.
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely.
Nice. Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
Our non-wrestling topic. What the fuck? Topic this week is basically, has anyone got any little weird habits or oddities or OCDs or anything like that they have to say about their partner or family member or even themselves? We got majority of people did message in with stuff about themselves, to be fair, probably through fear
of themselves. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I did say to Sharon when we brought out this non-wrestling topic a few days ago, start making a couple of notes and write down anything that pops in your head that I do that's a little bit eccentric or a little bit odd.
Sent you 3 pages of things.
She said she basically said, bloody hell, that I can't. There's so many. There's so many little odd. So Sharon in the chat, if you think of any, just pop them in there and then we'll get onto those when we finished running through Twitter, I think. I've got a couple that I noticed that I do myself anyway, so we'll get to those in a moment, Magsy. Our first response on Twitter, and I will run through these in the order they came into us.
Yes.
And it's from our good buddy Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21, who I had a fantastic time yesterday recording the first episode of season 4 of the Doctor Who pod. It's our draft episode, randomly using an 8-sided dice to decide which Doctor Who's we choose and which stories to cover and so on. And otherwise, we both argue over the same doctors, so it's a good way of doing it.
Yep.
And this season, I'm quite happy because I got a couple of the doctors I wanted. Because last season, I got fucking no one. So it's worked out all right. But the Doctor Who pod will be returning very, very soon. Dan says, I have specific orders that I eat certain meals in to save the best till the last. Example, on my roast, my order goes veggies and mash, roast potatoes, meat, then Yorkshire puddings. Apparently, this is odd.
No, I don't find that odd. And I would even go one step further, because one of the oddball things that I think I do, and the wife certainly thinks it's odd, is I'll eat the stuff separately, but I do not like to mix things as well. That's the wife will happily get some carrots, some peas, a Brussels sprout, and some mashed potato all on a fork. No mixing. No mixing. And I even do it with beans on toast. I will eat every bean off the plate before I eat the toast.
Okay, I can go as daft as it sounds one step further than that, because something that actually inspired this topic in my mind, and when I messaged over and suggested it to you, was beans on toast. Because I sat down that day and I didn't even twig that I'd done it until after the fact, and that's what made me message. I will eat a couple of pieces of toast, and then I will eat a bowl of beans.
So the toast is the starter.
Yeah, I won't put, because it's the same as when if I have a sausage sandwich or a fish finger sandwich or anything like that, I won't put butter in the bread because it makes the bread soggy. It's the same theory with the beans on the toast. I like the toast to be crunchy.
Okay, I can again go further than that. When it comes to a sandwich, if there is more than one atom on the sandwich, I will take the sandwich apart and eat the atoms separately until there's just one atom on the sandwich. Then I'll eat that. Sometimes I'll even eat that one and then eat the bread.
And then throw the bread away.
Whoa. Well, we'll not throw that bread away.
See, sandwiches. No, I suppose stuff on toast is different, and we were talking about this the other day, and because it kicked off that basically Liv, my middle daughter, when I asked her if she wanted butter on her toast that I was making for her with something else, she said, "Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?" And I explained what I do, and I'll tell you what it is in a moment. But Liv's response was, "You're a freak." Which was
you don't put mayonnaise on, do you?
No, I bloody don't. What I do is the only time I will have butter on my toast is if I am literally having butter on toast. If I'm having anything else, I don't have butter.
What? So like jam?
Yeah, jam, honey, peanut butter. You know the Heinz sandwich
peanut butter.
bread. Yeah, like the tangy peanut butter spread stuff.
Yeah.
Not peanut butter, sandwich spread stuff. All of that, I will not have butter on the toast. Because I will have just that straight on. But I layer it on mad thick as well.
You are a weird person.
Well, thank you very much. Again, that's why we triggered this conversation. Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. My wife there in the chat, what is she saying?
We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. In my last job, I would leave at 5:30 a.m. but didn't start until 9. How long was your commute?
He explains it. That's why.
The satisfaction of avoiding London's morning rush hour, also known as being stuffed into a train carriage that's so crowded you can feel people's breath on your eyeballs, was more than enough of a motivator. Yeah, but how long were you hanging? Danny, if you're in the chat, my friend, how long were you hanging around outside your work before you started?
Maybe he went on a bit of a stabbing spree before the shift started. He wanted ample time to go and stalk his prey.
Scout out his victims.
Friend of the show, Chris Mangle, actually replied to Danny and said he used to do similar, but for a far less sane reason. He used to like to watch an episode of Cell Block H on YouTube, drink an unfeasibly large mug of tea, eat his cereal, and allow for 3 bathroom breaks as a result of all that dairy. So there is multiple reasons to get into work 3.5 hours early, it seems.
I wouldn't, mate. I'm literally a last minute sort of situation. You know, I like to be there maybe 5-10 minutes early. You know,
To set your stall out.
Yeah. But like, I used to get a lift to this one factory I worked at, and we'd work 12-hour shifts. And this dude would want to, we were doing like 6 till 6, and this guy would want to be there at 5 a.m. And I'm thinking, we're there for 12 fucking hours, pal. Why do you need to be there?
And it should be just 12.
Yeah,
no
I would
extra.
happily. I would walk in at 5:59, put my little card in the machine that goes dunk and stamps it, and then walk out again at 6, because that's all they're paying us for.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I work now, bit different, because I like the people I work with and like the people I work for. But every other job I've had, bollocks. You know, I ain't doing that.
It makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast at Good Bad Wrestle on Twitter. Great to hear from them. Love the show. They say, I set the timer on the microwave to 59 seconds rather than a minute, as it's one button quicker to press and the 0 button doesn't get worn out as quickly.
Wow.
Such a regular issue, isn't it, in kitchens across the world, your 0 button getting worn out, Mags.
It's not, I mean, the amount of time you would save doing that it's negligible.
Well, it's a second.
No, but it's a second on the microwave, yeah, but in actually pressing the buttons, it's a fraction of a second.
Yeah. But if you accumulate those over, say, 50 years of your life,
you would have earned a whole minute.
Yeah, there you go, mate. There you go.
I mean,
so
I can't actually even do that.
Can you not? Oh, have you got a dial one?
Yeah, because our microwave has a dial.
Okay. The one at work has a dial.
The picture that Graham put, the GIF, is also a dial microwave.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Whenever I've had a dial microwave, or we've had a dial microwave at my mum's or at work, I think they always go ping just before the 0. So it's difficult for me to judge how far to turn it on.
No, does it not have a dial with a clock? So
no, you just turn. Yeah, so it's like 1 minute, 2 minutes. Yeah.
All right. So ours is a dial, but it turns a digital clock.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
That's flash. That is.
It's definitely not flash.
They continue here. Good cop, bad cop. I also set alarms for 5:59 rather than 6 and the like too. Yeah, that I don't get.
Yeah, that would be annoying. I mean,
yeah, I don't understand that. That is weird.
If you set it, especially on your phone, there's no physical buttons to actually wear the 0 down. No. That's just being awkward for awkward's sake.
Yeah, that is a bit strange, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, Graham is a strange human being, though.
Fair enough. Rob at UTT Rob on Twitter, he says, last time you asked this, I mean, we haven't asked this specific topic before, but I suppose something similar. Superstitions we had before, didn't we? And stuff like that, I suppose, weird little traits. Mags laughed at my lucky town socks that took us to the playoff final, then fell apart, resulting in failure and a disastrous season until the wizard that is Neil Warnock was brought in to remove the sockless curse. The lesson, never listen to Mags.
Unless I'm on a podcast, absolutely listen. But if I'm dishing out advice or commentary, yeah, don't pay the slightest bit of attention to what I've got to say. As I proved last week, I don't know what's coming out of my mouth at the beginning of a sentence. So
yes, that is true.
It makes no sense to listen to what I've got to say.
It's that time of the week. We hear from our good buddy Stevo at Total Stevo on Twitter. He says, I was regarded as weird because I liked listening to my music via headphones on my break at work. Now, this was 10 years ago. The culture then was to socialize. Fast forward 10 years, no one talks to each other at all and stares at their phone. Yeah, fair point.
Who's the weirdos now, Steve-O?
Yeah, that's right. Proving his point. Steve-O says, eating peanut butter with Onken yogurts. You're a weirdo. He says here he's called.
I have Greek yogurt with peanut butter, and it's delicious.
See,
that
sounds amazing. I've never done
is.
it, but it sounds amazing.
It's honestly, you get a spoonful of peanut butter. I like the ones with like chunks in them. Don't get smooth. Whisk it, not whisk it, or just like stir it into your yogurt. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious.
So it does sound great, to be fair. Because I like to engage and talk with people, people think it's odd. Yeah, is that a London thing though? Because I mean, don't get me wrong. If you just randomly start talking to loads of different people, then it is a bit strange, isn't it? But you hear so many people talk about being in London, and they say hello, and the sort of the people who live there react like, "What the fuck? He's saying hello to me."
Yeah.
Whereas you go, if I have people say hello to me in Gloucester quite often, I don't know. I've been to York and so on to see Dan Griffin at one stage, and everyone said hello there. And is it more of a London thing? Do you think, Mags, or is it?
I think it may. I mean, it might not just be a London thing. It might just be a big city thing.
Okay.
Because or even a southern thing. I mean, I know you're relatively southern, but like deep dark southern. Because up here in the north,
like Stroud,
is that deep dark southern, or is that just below Gloucester?
It's right by us. Yes. Speaking of Stroud, Forest Green Rovers got relegated this weekend. Get in. Carry on, Max. Sorry.
Anyway, yes, it's a very northern. It feels like a northern thing where we can go for a walk and we'll see 10 people who we don't know, and you'll say good morning to them, or evening, or hello.
Yeah.
Just as you're passing. But like I said, if you do that in London, you'll either get looked at funny or stabbed even. So yeah, I think it's the more I suppose the size of the city, the less sociable people seem to be.
Fair enough. Eating microwavable broccoli, tins of tuna, and so on, all classified Steve-O as weird, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, the broccoli, the tuna, tins of tuna are class.
Yeah, a bit of vinegar on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but eating broccoli, no, that is weird.
I like broccoli.
Yeah, well, you also like deep fried, air fried bloody Brussels, so.
No, I do. Do you know what else as well that's really strange? I've recently decided that I like, literally in the last 2 days, I think I like ketchup now.
It's only took 40 plus years.
Yeah, well, I've always hated ketchup, like literally, that's gross, that sort of scenario. But I've had it on things normally when I'm pissed up, and I'll put a bit of ketchup on there because I really fancy it when I'm drunk. So I put some ketchup on stuff today, and I was like, that's actually really nice. Maybe drunk me's onto something.
Yeah, so just be drunk more often.
But there you go, Sharon. Magsy said, okay.
I second Sar being drunk at all times.
At all times. Oh my god, I drive a fork truck at work. I'm not sure this is a good idea. I operate big
pissed
saws.
up fork trucks is fun.
Oh dear me. Steve-O continues. I can only drink vodka straight.
Oh, that's grim.
Any other alcoholic beverage I do not like. Apparently that's weird. So Steve-O's drink is literally just straight vodka then. That's pretty hardcore.
That's brutal. That's paint stripper levels of brutal.
Well, it depends what vodka though, doesn't it? Because if you have I I love the Crystal Skull, but it's so expensive I can barely have it because it is like I said, crazy expensive. But it is lush. It's smooth and
is
lovely.
Is that the Dan Aykroyd one?
Yeah. And then sort of a bit down from that, you have I suppose all the Grey Gooses and your designer shit that the nightclubs have and all that. That's smooth as well. It's not like drinking Commissar for $5.99 from the co-op or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the only vodka that I've been able to drink straight and not kind of gag was one called Zubrovka, and it's made with Barson grass, so it's kind of like tinged green. Yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Steve-O continues. Oh yeah, Si will appreciate this. I love voice messaging. For me, it's more convenient and more personal, in my opinion. Online dating girls literally said, can't talk with you then, even though I was talking and they were just texting. Okay. See, the voice messaging thing, I've never got.
No.
And my brother does it all the time. He would rather send a voice message than a text. And Steve-O now, because we communicate about a few different things, podcasts and so on, he's got my number. We communicate via WhatsApp. So I get voice messages sometimes from Steve-O and Tyler Peters as well, who does a couple of shows on the network with Benny Mac and Scottish Danny. He voice messages a great deal via Facebook and so on as well. It's not normally an issue, but my problem is if it's an evening time, you can guarantee I've got headphones on because I'm editing. So if I get a voice message, if I get a text, I can just stop and read it and reply. If I get a voice message, I got to stop my editing, which is what I do pretty much nightly, and then get my headphones off, turn my phone on, listen to the voice message to then text for a reply back. Yeah, Steve-O's right. It is because you don't get any tone of voice, do you, with regards or context, I suppose, sometimes with regards to a written message. So it is more personal, Maxi, isn't it?
It absolutely is, but it's not for me. I'm the kind of person who I use my phone for phone calls, maybe 10 minutes in a month, even though I pay for unlimited.
Right.
I'm in a WhatsApp group with Rob, Dan, and James from Cafe de Rene. And me, Rob, and Dan will text our messages, and James will always leave voice notes. So yeah, he's definitely the odd one out, but I prefer the written word.
Yeah. And you also got to be careful as well, because obviously if you voice message Morty, for example, that inevitably ends up clipped and stuck on the show.
On the show, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. As one of mine did.
Future proofing.
Yes, exactly. Steve-O continues. Not me, but certain housemates I've lived with have had unusual toilet habits, or as Dan Griffin would say, can't shit properly. Would use sheets upon sheets of paper. Some literally going through a whole roll in a day. As you always said about them, fucking weird.
What, the whole of the house goes through a roll a day, or one person? Because
I think the way he's saying this is one person, yes.
That's some diarrhea trouble there if you're going through a full roll in a day.
I suppose it depends on your eating and your drinking habits as well, doesn't it?
I mean, a full roll, there's like, what, 200 sheets of toilet roll? Even if you use 10, which is a ridiculous amount, you'd have to be going to the toilet 20 times in a day.
That is a lot.
That's a hell of a lot.
That is a lot, yes. And I suppose it depends. There's lots of variables, but I agree with you. Because, if you buy like the really thick toilet paper, you probably don't use as much, do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you get the cheapy 2-ply one, 10 sheets of it, it's like that thick, surely.
Yeah. You block the toilet as well, then.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you'd think it would. Are they kind of really just wrapping their hand in it, like
mummifying themselves up to the shoulder?
Like the Yeti.
Like the Yeti. He turned up on Nitro Nights again this week. But he's called Ron Stud now, and he's still shit. Where do we get to? Here we go. Steve-O continues. On the car drive theme from last week, I find it so weird that a car will speed to and then do an emergency stop over a speed bump to then speed away and repeat the same action over the next speed bump. Yeah, we get a lot of that in Gloucester, to be fair, because Gloucester is mini roundabouts, speed bumps, and traffic lights. It's just everywhere. So we get a lot of that.
Yeah, we get it as well in Burnley. With driving, the thing that aggravates me the most, though, is people who will speed up to beat you to a queue of traffic for traffic lights, and then will only be one car in front of you. So it's like, what have you gained from that? You literally have got maybe a second ahead in the queue. It's just the patheticness of it.
Yeah, totally. At Jimmy Evans for real on Twitter, he says mostly food habits and sayings, and I asked for more information and he kept quiet then, so we can't find out about any of his funny sayings.
Jimmy, for next week's send Si a message and we'll read out your superstitions and your weird little ways,
your food habits and your sayings, because everyone else is pretty much the same, it seems, at the moment. Cam, and this is a strange one for me, Magsy. This is weird.
Yeah, I think it was Cam's birthday as well yesterday. So happy belated birthday, Cam.
No, I'm not wishing him a happy birthday because this is disgusting. At Cam Griff 92 on Twitter, he says, "I'm quite partial to having squash in a fizzy drink. Now that I'm okay with."
As you slate him,
Cam.
he rocks up. Happy belated birthday, Cam. Sad refuse to wish you a happy birthday. I'll just let you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. I've already wished him a happy birthday on Twitter, to be fair, but there we go. Squash in a fizzy drink. I can get on board with that. Whether it's a little bit, lemonade and a bit of squash or whatever, that's okay. But then he goes on to explain, our good friend Cam goes on to explain, he'll have Robinson Orange in Pepsi Max. Right. What crazy psychopath way of behavior is that?
That does sound weird, but then if you look at Pepsi Max Cherry, there's Pepsi Max Raspberry, there used to be Pepsi Pineapple and Pepsi Strawberry. So I think it would work.
Oh, I'll try. I'm gonna have to try it.
So the only thing that I have that's close to that is I'll sometimes have orange juice and Sprite mixed together.
Okay.
But I've never tried it with a cordial. And you think a cordial, you go with lemonade because it's like a base flavor. No, I mean Coke it's very pronounced as a flavor in it, and very Moorish, I've heard.
Well, there is that. Cam says, I used to have the volume on things ending in either a 0 or a 5. Yep. Now, I can get on board with that to a degree. Mine have to be even numbers.
The wife absolutely goes mad and I do it on purpose to wind her up. I'll put the volume on the TV at like 19, and she'll be like, just turn it up a little bit more. Or so I will, and I'll go to like 22, and she'll know I'm doing it on purpose to wind her up. She likes it on 0s and 5s all the time.
Oh, so I'm okay with like the TV I got set up in the bedroom that I do all my research on and stuff like that. When I go to bed, I'll put a bit of wrestling on or some Doctor Who or whatever. I normally have it on 14 when I go to bed. And then when I really want to
set very specific.
Yeah, because I know that's loud enough for me to hear, but not so loud that it'll stop me dozing off or disturbing the kids in the house because it's late. Mm-hmm. So 14 when I go to bed. And then when I'm really starting to feel tired and want to doze off, I'll put it down to 12.
Oh, no,
in reality, 13 is the exact perfect volume for that TV in this bedroom at night. But I can't put it on 13 because I won't be able to sleep. It'll drive me batty.
Because of the unlucky number.
Well, there is that. It's Liv's shirt number in football.
Do you not set a sleep timer on your TV?
No, it just goes off in the end, doesn't it?
No, I mean, mine doesn't.
Yeah, mine does. Eventually, it'll come up and just shut itself off, yeah. Oh, maybe it has got a sleep timer then, and I just didn't realise. That's what sleep timer
I have
does.
to set a sleep timer on my TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, no, if there's like no activity for a while, it'll turn itself off, look.
Oh, I don't have that. I literally set like an hour sleep timer, and it'll turn itself off.
We had to set a sleep timer on Liv's TV because she would fall asleep, and I'd get up go to the toilet at like 4 a.m. or whatever,
and it'd be blaring.
And the telly's and it's a big old telly, and it's lighting the hallway and everything. So I'm going
you can just see the electric meter just going round and round.
Start me off like that. And I'll go into a room and I think, right, I want to turn this off, but I don't know how to do it because it's through her PlayStation and everything. So I ended up standing there in her bedroom in the dark, pressing buttons, trying to get this bloody thing to turn off on this PlayStation remote with its wibbly wobbly joysticks and 87 buttons and whatnot. And you guarantee she wakes up and starts yelling at me, like, "What are you doing in my room?" sort of thing. So we had to set a sleep timer on Liv's telly, yeah. Yeah,
so going off on another tangent, Jesus Christ. So my the TV here at this side, it's a smart TV, an Android smart TV, and it recently got a software update. So now, whenever I turn my PlayStation off, the TV will turn it back on if I don't quickly turn the TV to either a different channel or turn the TV off.
Okay.
Because the TV now can turn on the PlayStation if it's on that channel. I can also control the PlayStation with my TV remote. It's really, really weird.
That is strange.
Yeah.
That is strange.
It's
I get
very,
my
very-
air off. I get my air off on my telly because when you turn it on, it comes out of a menu screen. You got to wait for that to go off before you can move anything. But
that annoys me.
I always go too quick, and then it clicks on something I don't want and takes me to like the SCART socket or something. There's nothing plugged into that, it just my head in. Anyway, Cam also says fig rolls are my favorite biscuit. Yes, Cam, you've redeemed yourself. There we go.
Okay, so again, going off onto another tangent, fig rolls used to be Mrs. Mags's favorite biscuit until I told her how figs are, how they have every fig roll will have parts of wasps inside them.
They what? So
figs are pollinated by the fig wasp, and what happens is the fruit,
the fig wasp.
This is not even a joke. It sounds like a story you make up to like keep kids away from the fig rolls.
But, it does sound a little bit made up.
Yeah. So what happens is the wasp goes inside a little hole in the small fruit of the fig to pollinate it, and then it can't escape. So the fig basically eats the wasp and then swells and becomes a fig. And yeah, there's little bits of wasp in figs. So you will never find figs marked as vegan because you are essentially eating wasp.
Okay, so all those times, and we've had the conversation a couple of times, to be fair, on the show, where we've been normally in the summer when we both struggle a little bit, slating wasps and saying, what's the point in these evil bastards? We hate them. There is actually a purpose for wasps to make fig rolls.
Not like the yellow jacket style wasps. These are really teeny tiny wasps.
Oh, right. So not real proper wasps.
Real proper wasps couldn't get inside the hole in a fig, I don't think.
Well, how big's a fig?
It's the little bud before it becomes a fruit.
Oh, okay. So I think I'm getting confused with dates.
What, like the fruit dates? Yeah,
not like taking my wife out for a meal. Yeah, no, the dates, like
Yeah, no, figs are bigger than dates. Figs are they're like pink and green, and then they've got like a fleshy, like seedy insides, kind of like a dragon fruit a little bit. But yeah, they're pollinated by wasps, and every time you eat a fig roll, you eat a wasp, or at least one wasp.
I'm all right with it.
The wife is not. She will never eat. I ruined fig rolls for her like I ruined sausages for her.
Oh my goodness. Ruined sausages for her?
Yeah, when I told her that they were made of like snouts and trotters and things like that.
And bollocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, though, I'm all right with that as well. So, King Pig's Bladders, the Photoshop wizard himself, at Pig's Bladders on Twitter, he says, air fresheners, perfume, deodorant, shower gels, aftershave, you name it, anything that has an aroma or fragrance must be referred to by flavor. For example, that's a nice perfume. What flavor is it? Never what fragrance. Always flavor. I can't stop myself.
I think I've done this quite a lot. It's not something it'll happen all the time, but yeah, I've said what flavor is that deodorant or shower gel, things like that.
Nice. Connor Knows Soccer at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. He says, the only day of the week I don't shave is on Sundays. I don't know why I never shave on Sunday. Just never have, and I probably never will. It's important to nail your colours to the mask or something, I suppose.
Yeah, and especially at Connor's young age,
yes,
he's decided now that he will never ever shave on the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. Another thing of mine is I never wash my football shirts. For one, I'm very superstitious, and if they get washed, it might cause my club to lose. Oh yeah, I'm about that. I used to. Well, not so much now. not so much now because I don't wear football shirts, but back when I used to always have a United shirt on when United played and stuff like that. If we were on a winning streak, or England in a tournament, for example, when England were winning games in Euro 96, I wouldn't wash my England shirt.
That's grim.
Well, no, because it's not like I wore it all the time. I put it on for the match, so I take it off for the match.
It's still.
Yeah,
No.
you reckon?
That's not a me thing. That would definitely go in the wash. You smelly people.
Brilliant. Pig splatters again says here, it's not something I do, but something I have. Apparently, I have long toes and big hands.
Jesus Christ, like salad fingers.
My toes to me are just normal, but to everyone else, they're really long. Is a 3-inch long big toe? Is 3 inches, long for a big toe?
Yes, incredibly.
How long are my toes then?
I only have stubby toes.
Do you?
But feet like ham hocks.
Okay. So how long would you say the average toe is, Mags?
I have no idea. I really let's have a look. Average big toe size. We'll go with that. Jesus Christ, as if people have actually searched this. This is
if anyone can hear any odd noises on the audio version or
approximately 2 inches.
2 inches. Oh, okay, so he's a 50% longer again than the average toe.
So I'd say that's quite odd.
It's quite big, isn't it? The odd rustling noises people might be able to hear right now is me going through my work bag, which is just conveniently sat next to me, so I can get my tape measure and I'm going to measure my big toe.
Jesus wept. Audio gold here, people. Audio gold.
My big toe. So it's like from the knuckle, I guess, down. Would that be right? Yeah, mine's 2.5 inch, mind.
Sharon says, don't ask Sir. He'll tell you his toe is at least 6 inches. That's not his toe.
Brilliant.
That's his nickname.
Yeah. My big toe is about 2.5 inch, maybe. So, yeah.
Big toe.
Really glad I did that. Pig Splatter says, and as for hands, they are big. And you know what they say about people with big hands? Big gloves.
I mean, is it not big feet? What they say about big feet, big shoes?
Maybe. I wonder, what about the rest of your foot then? 6 inch side, brilliant. I'll take that. 6.
He's glad of a 6 inch side.
Oh yeah, that's on a good warm day as well.
With the wind in his hair.
Yes, blowing my beard. Ja at Yalmore Right on Twitter. He says people never seem to get the raw sausages. Yeah, we've had conversations about that. Yeah, I don't. That is.
It's processed meat. Eating raw processed meat. That's because we've spoke about like steak tartare and things like that, which is a fresh steak chopped up straight away and then served. But raw sausages is minced parts of animal, and that introduces the opportunity for bacteria. Yeah, raw sausages, that's not good. That's bad for you. Bad jar.
It's not in practice. It's him that's using a whole roll of toilet paper every day because
he's a costume man. He's just emptied out.
He said he had a Hasbro figure in one hand and a raw sausage in the other. Was how he spent my youth. As sayings go, I'm stealing Ray Mysterio instead of saying "ta-ra" to someone after hearing it on the lads at Adjective Pod latest show. So Ray Mysterio.
That's cool. That's really
good.
Yeah.
Have you? I know you don't listen to many podcasts anymore, Magsy. Since
I've never heard of it before.
Okay, it's good. It's good.
Although we follow each other, which is amazing. But yeah, I've not heard it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no,
I will
they're good.
try to listen.
I enjoy it. And finally, from Twitter, we have the Villain King, our fantastic friend AB at official AB_POS. And they say, my partner replaces where someone might say, my lord or my god in shock with my lanta. And it makes me giggle every time. Meanwhile,
I don't get it. My lanta.
No, I don't. My lanta. My lanta?
No. Let us know why Malanta villain king.
Yeah, let us know. Meanwhile, to list all the weird things I do would require a few books, not a single tweet. Hey, there is a chain wrestling email account. I don't know the login for it anymore, but it was set up over a year ago. But there are ways of giving us more information.
Yeah, or DMs, or
yes, there you go.
You've actually missed one.
Did I?
You have missed Chris Bellis, real Chris Bellis.
Chris, I apologise. What have we got there, Magsy?
He's put, I don't eat them as much anymore, but whenever he has a bag of Skittles, he will organise them by colour into ramekins and stack them in a tower by order I'm going to eat them in. Red, yellow, orange, purple, green. Most people think it's weird, but my sister-in-law found it awesome. That is a little bit weird. That's the first part I get, but then stacking them, that feels overkill. I've counted.
Will they just keep falling down?
No, because you get you can get ramekins that kind of like fit into each other.
What's a ramekin?
It's like a little bowl that you would bake like a souffle in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
okay, fair enough.
I mean, I've separated Skittles and Smarties and things like that to see how many of each colour that you get, and then I would eat like the most first, and then go down to the least. Because the least usually was the purple ones because they're the best flavour.
Which one's the best flavour? Sorry,
the purple one. It's
yes,
like blackcurrant,
and the red one.
Yeah, the red and purple are usually like the least numerous. You normally get loads of green and loads of orange.
Orange sucks. Same as in like Starburst. You get loads of orange.
Yeah, the best Starburst is purple.
Yes.
100 million miles.
And then red again.
No, pink. I'd say pink before red.
What's pink?
Pink is raspberry.
Okay.
Red is strawberry.
I've not had Starburst in a long time. I didn't realise they had pink.
Well, I mean, they've been there from day one, I think.
Okay. Well, there we go. Sharon in the chat. I sort my Skittles into colours. It's the only way. Orange first, then blackcurrant, and then lemon and lime together, and finish with strawberry.
Lemon and lime together? That's maverick. Cam says, anyone eat a yellow and green Skittle at the same time? So Cam and Sharon are massively on point with this one. And then Cam says, near perfection, Sharon, but swap purple, red over. Yep, I agree. Orange, blackcurrant, I would not eat second. That's blasphemous to me.
Yeah, that's got to be right at the end.
Orange, lemon, lime, strawberry, and blackcurrant. Yeah, that's how I'd eat them.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Is there anything else in the chat we need to quickly check out, Maxie?
Yeah, so Sharon says that she doesn't like the purple ones, but so that's weird that you would eat the orange first. Do you dislike orange more than you dislike blackcurrant? That's weird. And she also says that Matt Atlanta is a Real Housewife thing. So it's another American program that I have never watched, nor will I ever watch. Sharon says that she didn't wash a cowboy shirt last season. She can't wash out the winning streak. And then Sharon says, is that not just because it's a Cowboys jersey? So, I mean, just the thought of wearing a dirty shirt just fills me with dread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Superstitions, mate, isn't it? Superstitions. There we go. Sharon did have a couple that I do apparently in the chat, didn't she? Whereabouts are they gone? Let's have a little look.
They will be further up. She's getting some grief for married at first sight. Anyway, Cam wanted to know what married from the first, what maths was. Married a fishy sailor, but actually married at first sight. I'd watch King's Pig's Bladder. I would watch the Fishy Sailor version. You know what? I would actually watch the Fishy Sailor version. So here's yours from Sharon.
Okay.
You are hugely superstitious. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I am absolutely not. So you have successfully passed this on to Liv. Socks and football boots have to be put on a certain way. So
yeah.
Go on, enlighten us.
when I used to play, I would put my left sock on first, then my right sock, then my right boot, then my left boot.
So go around in like a circle.
Yeah. And if there was one occasion where I didn't do it that order because I was rushing. 20 minutes into the game, I had to go off to the sideline, take my boots and socks off, put them back on again in the right order because it was fucking my head up.
And did you play any better after that?
Yes. Yeah, I was an absolute
so
mess.
It's definitely a mental thing.
Oh, 100%.
You were focused on the fact that you'd messed it up and it was affecting.
Oh yeah, it plays on your mind. Yeah, definitely.
Physical game.
Yeah, definitely. Just silly
I kinda
superstitions
get
like that, really. Just silly superstitions. Sorry, put my teeth in.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to have exactly the same things here in front of me in the same positions whenever we go live. So my phone is always there. I've always got my drink there, my vape there. The light has got to be set on a certain light with the buttons up and down. And I got to go. There's like 5 different like shades of the light, like brightness. And I've got to go up through all 5 and then back down to the one I want, even though I know which one I want when I get there. I've got to go past it and back down again. That's
kind of weird.
It is a bit, mate.
Yeah,
it is a bit. And I've got a routine when I go to bed as well. That if I don't do it, I've got to go back downstairs and start again. And that's I let the dog out for a wee, and when he's out in the garden, I will check all the windows, check the front door is locked, go back, lock the back door. And the last thing I do is just make sure both freezers and the fridge are shut and then go to bed. Even though I know I've done it, if I'm led in bed and I think to myself, did I test those freezers? I've got to go back down and do the whole. I can't just do the freezers. I've got to pretty much do the whole thing again.
And Sharon says, what are you going to be like when you swap rooms?
It's going to be okay because it's a completely new setup when we swap rooms. I've got a whole new recording area planned and sorted out and it's going to be set up in August. So
okay,
it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you are very OCD then, aren't you? It feels like you've got OCD.
Yeah. I have to. Yeah. I mean, at work, there are certain things that have to be in certain positions as well, and even little things like the remote controls. I've got 3 remote controls in the bedroom. You know, DVD, Fire Stick, and TV. They have to be in the same positions and pointing in the same direction and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it does mess me up a little bit sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same with things like that. I'll do have certain places for certain things, and if they're not there, it'll send me absolutely mental. And like, who's moved it? But apart from that, I only have, I'd say, a couple, maybe 2 or 3 odd like foibles. Obviously, we've spoke about the food one with the sandwiches and the never should pieces of your meal be eaten at the same time. That's but I've got 2 specifically that I do when I'm actually in bed. The first one is I actually have 3. So the first one is when I'm going to sleep, I have to have a hand under my head. So I'll tend to go to sleep on my front, so my face is like on the pillow, but I'll have to have either my hand or the wife's hand underneath my head, so between my head and my pillow. Otherwise, I'd struggle to go to sleep. Then I will always put my legs in kind of like a figure 4, so I'll have one leg straight and one leg like crossed over the other one.
Right.
Which it's a little bit weird, but the one that the wife laughs at me the most is, so when you have to change positions in bed, like you have to turn or roll over or whatever.
I'm familiar with how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So say you want to go from like laying on your back to your side. Now, for most people, that's a 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
For me, I have to go the opposite way. So I have to do the 270 degrees turn rather than.
So you're like Zoolander in bed then. You can't turn left or something. You have to turn right.
Well, if I want to turn left, I have to go all the way right. But if I want to turn right, I've got to go all the way left.
Yeah, that is fucking weird, mate.
It's and I can't stop myself from doing it. I couldn't go to sleep if I turned just straight left. It would just mess with my head, so I have to go all the way around.
That's insane. That's
It
pretty
is.
crazy, isn't it?
That is weird.
I bet Mrs. Mags gets proper cross about that as well, because you're just going to be constantly spinning in the bed,
Well,
probably dragging all the covers across as well.
She has her own annoying sleep habits, so she'll kick me and punch me in her sleep.
Brilliant.
She's currently having a lot of hot flushes, so she will just throw the quilt off the bed at any point of the night, no matter when she's getting a hot
in her
flush.
sleep.
Yeah, well, she'll be fast asleep, but she'll be like, she'll be having a hot flush, so she'll get in like really kind of flustered, and she'll just throw the quilt off. So that's
right.
fun.
Okay. Yeah,
that's amazingly fun.
Because you go flying with it, because you've done 270-degree spins in that.
I'm wrapped up like a sausage. She will steal a lot of the quilt, so I'll end up with like the tiniest like sliver of material, and she'll have like the quilt all the way wrapped up. She'll steal the bed. She'll actually sneakily move closer and closer, so I end up balancing right on the edge of the bed, and she's like spread out all over. What other ones? Oh, she falls out with me because of dreams. So she has a dream, and I've done something wrong in the dream. I get punished in real life for that.
That's fantastic.
She once, the worst one, she once didn't speak to me all day long, and then when she finally decided to speak to me, and I said, "What's wrong?" She went, "You did this in my dream." So I got the cold shoulder for a full day because she dreamt something that I hadn't even actually done. So
that's brilliant.
Well, it was peaceful, but it was also I was in trouble for not doing anything.
Fucking hell! Oh dear me. Funny people, aren't we? Funny people. Magsy, we better get round to talking a bit of wrestling, I think, my friend.
It's about bloody time. Let's do it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
The winner of this week's poll was my choice. Magsy finished with the Royal Rumble from 2005, continuing on from what we looked at last week, I guess. When was the last time you saw this, Mags?
Today, sir. I watched it today.
No,
this.
When was the last time you saw it before today? Then
this is a Rumble that I've watched a very particular part quite a few times because it's fucking hilarious. But the actual full Rumble, I don't know if I've watched it more than a couple of times since it first aired.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I'm the same because I think that I look back on this whole Evolution and Batista Triple H storyline, remembering that the storyline was good, but the actual in-ring side of things wasn't so good.
Okay.
And I think the Rumble that obviously, that's not a spoiler really, but Batista goes on to win this. Obviously, the Rumble, I think I've always, on some level, banded into that same kind of feeling. In that,
I get that.
Yeah. So, like WrestleMania 21, I've not gone back and watched Batista versus Triple H hardly ever from that WrestleMania.
Well, but maybe next week.
Well, I have gone back and watched loads of other matches from that card, but not that one, because in my head I'm thinking the match wasn't very good in comparison to the storyline, which was really well done. So I think the Rumble's dropped into that as well.
Okay.
However, spoiler alert, not giving away my score just yet, I was quite pleasantly surprised by this.
I was as well. Normally with a Rumble, they're very generic. You'll get obviously spots in between the kind of punchy, kicky, clothesline action, but this was actually quite a well-paced Rumble. I thought and there was a lot of storyline, a lot of winks to the fans. Yeah, I thought this was a really well done Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I loved hearing Howard Finkel do the introductions and the standard. Here are the rules, and then he goes into the rules of the Rumble, which nobody really needs. And I think
I know we get it,
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear him.
I think at some point that people on commentary, I think Jerry Lawler used to do it, used to whinge and moan and, oh, come on, Howard, for goodness sake, we know how it works and all that sort of stuff. But it's still great, from a nostalgia standpoint, isn't it, Mags?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we got Jerry on this one. It was Taz, weren't it?
Oh, he annoyed me.
I've never been a fan of Taz on commentary. I've grown to like him now on AEW, but that's mainly because of Botchamania, and he has really good kind of a banter with Excalibur, usually on like Rampage and Dark Elevation and stuff like that. But yeah, this early Taz on commentary, yeah, I'm not about that.
No, he tries to be too jokey, and he's trying to push. Obviously, the King for a while had his now very dated and not particularly pleasant, catchphrases like puppies and all that sort of stuff. And I think Taz tried his best to sort of force his own catchphrases into his commentary, and then would also have he'd almost try and be a bit laughy and jokey with everybody rather than just doing his fucking job.
Yeah, I think it was a case of him not having his own style recognized yet, and kind of still finding his feet as a commentator. But yeah, it just didn't work for me. I think it's probably been spoiled as well we've had so many good commentary teams that when you introduce someone new, it can kind of throw you off, I suppose, especially if they're not that experienced with it.
Somebody in the background there obviously shares our thoughts. The idea of Taz on commentary
is definitely not. Yes, I mentioned Taz and it's upset her.
Yeah, there you go. So it's your fault for bringing him up, Max.
Apologies to you.
The match begins with Eddie Guerrero. He has drawn number 1, and I got that. I love that. Just hearing Eddie's music, the entrance, and all that sort of stuff. It was just nice.
So, did you watch any more of the show though, outside of the match?
I watched Batista getting his number.
Right. So Eddie was in a backstage segment like that where he got his number, and he actually stole Ric Flair's number.
Yes.
And he also stole his wallet as well. So that's why Eddie Guerrero ended up getting number 1. That was the number he drew, and he tried to switch it out with Ric Flair.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Benoit is in. Chris Benoit is in as number 2. Fantastic entrance theme. I love that song so much.
Second year in a row that he started the Rumble as well.
Yeah,
I think the year before he went Broadway, didn't he? He went bell to bell.
Yes, from number 1 all the way through. I was all about Benoit in 2004. Fantastic.
Yeah.
These two kind of dominate the early parts of this Rumble. We get lots of other people coming and going as well, but they're in it for quite a while. But early on, we see Daniel Puder, Mags.
Yes, we do. Hot off his tough enough win. And this felt like he was being broken into the business. He was being put in his place.
Yes, and this is especially noticeable by notorious Grump, Hardcore Holly, coming to the ring next.
Notorious hater of rookies.
Yes, and he looks probably the closest to happy I've ever seen Hardcore Holly when he realizes he gets to spend a bit of time with Daniel Puder, and he just chops the piss out of him.
Yeah, and props to Daniel Puder. I know WWE didn't end up being that good of an experience for him, and he had very well noted attitude problems. But he took this beating from at least 2 people who were known to punish rookies in Benoit and Holly. He took it and sold it like an absolute champ. So props to him for that. I didn't particularly like the promo that he tried to cut beforehand. It made him look a bit of a knob, and he got the whooping he deserved. But Jesus Christ.
Yes, indeed. We quickly, though, go back to Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Other people have been like Shane Helms comes down in his hurricane gimmick and so on. We basically eventually these people are eliminated and we're back to Guerrero and Benoit again, which I think worked quite well because I'm not fussed on Pewter, Holly, and the others. So
it kind of felt like it was following a tradition that you see quite regularly in Rumbles, where the first two in end up surviving for a long time, and they clear the ring, and then you get more action between them two, and then you get a build-up of wrestlers, and then they clear the ring, and you get the feeling that these two are going to make it to the end. So it was a bit jarring when they don't.
Yes, indeed. A theme that is going to pop up a little bit, Magsy, as we talk about this Rumble, is me saying, I totally forgot that guy even existed. Daniel Pewter is the first one. The second one was Kenzo Suzuki. Bloody hell, that's a blast from the past.
And how bad was it as well? There was a point where I think Eddie Guerrero gives him a drop kick, and he jumps and falls forward into it, which he was not a good wrestler.
No, so much build up around him as well. I mean, 2005 was a really weird time because they've got this brand split, haven't they? And I think on SmackDown in particular, there was a group of wrestlers in the sort of lower mid card on SmackDown, the likes of a Jindrak, a Luther Reigns, and the Kenzo Suzuki, and so on. There was a big group of them there that were around for a few years, all of them really heavily pushed, and all of them just disappeared and never did anything.
Yeah, the pushers didn't last that long. Yeah, I think the problem with Kenzo, he fell into the typical foreign heel persona, and then also he was Japanese, and we know that Vince definitely does not know how to book a decent Japanese unless they're called Yokozuna. So
who's actually Hawaiian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you're Japanese, you must be able to do martial arts. Apparently, is kind of that theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little while after Kenzo departs, however, we get a moment where the four in the ring are Edge, Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, and Eddie Guerrero. Now that is a collection of talent, isn't it? That is some talent.
I mean, the likes of Puda, Jindrak, Luther Reigns, you always get kind of like smaller names to bulk up the numbers, but looking down the list of wrestlers that was in this, it's stacked full of wrestling talent. It's absolutely stacked. I mean, it comes to something when Shelton Benjamin is not even one of the most talented wrestlers in the ring, and that guy is super talented. Just absolutely, it was a who's who of wrestling in this Royal Rumble.
See, Shelton Benjamin's another one. When his music hit, obviously I know Shelton Benjamin, and I was a big fan of his, and his matches with Michaels, and he's still doing stuff for WWE now, isn't he?
Yeah.
But when his music hit, it took me a moment. Who the hell's that? Before he came out, I didn't recognize the music. No,
ain't no stopping me. No.
Now I feel daft not knowing it because it's obvious. But when it first hit, it must be that long since I've heard it. But he was IC champion at the time, wasn't he?
He was,
yeah. Booker T enters as well, and Taz says that Booker T has main evented WrestleMania because he wrestled Triple H the previous year, and that was the main event of WrestleMania, according to Taz. I'm not buying that. That was in the middle of the show.
And wasn't it also not the WrestleMania before that?
19,
was that not
yes.
Yeah, so that Taz missed out. WrestleMania 20 didn't happen.
Yeah,
then.
No. Knob head. At this point, we have, and I liked this touch as well, because we had Taz on commentary, annoyingly so, constantly ramping up the fact that he wants another SmackDown guy in the ring. Oh, there's this guy representing SmackDown and so on. That annoyed me. But the general manager is coming down, Bischoff for Raw and Teddy Long for SmackDown. I didn't mind that. I thought that was good.
Yeah, they'd been they were in quite a few like backstage segments, trying to one up each other. And Teddy Long was kind of boasting that SmackDown had won the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row, and then Eric would fire back saying, "Yeah, but the last time the winner instantly defected to Raw, meaning Benoit." So they were trying to one up each other. So yeah, ironically, it was the second pay-per-view in 2 days that I watched where Eric Bischoff come down to ringside.
Oh, okay. What was the other one?
Spring Stampede. It does it.
Oh, right, yeah.
He stands at the top and gets involved in the main event, doesn't he?
Fair enough. Another of the adds to the collection of I totally forgot this guy even existed. Luther Reigns comes down. That was really fits into that bracket of I can see why McMahon would love this guy, but he had zero charisma.
Yes, he was. He had the charisma of like cabbage.
Yeah, indeed.
But he is then.
Yeah,
he's part of an interesting little spot where we end up with 8 guys in the ring, and there's then 4 from Raw and 4 from SmackDown. So from Raw, you have like Edge, Jericho, Benoit, and Shelton Benjamin. Just that's a Mount Rushmore level 4. And then on the SmackDown side, you've got Mysterio, amazing, Booker T, just record breaking, Eddie Guerrero, and Luther Reigns.
Brilliant.
One of these 8 just doesn't belong here. But it's cool that you get this little face off trying to push this brand rivalry, brand supremacy story that's going on. And we get a mass 4-on-4 brawl.
And the crowd go wild for that, mind. The crowd pop crazy for that, don't they? But everyone kind of stops when we get the next entrant because they all just want to beat the piss out of Muhammad Hassan.
Poor Muhammad Hassan.
He gets destroyed and sent packing, but not before kicking the shit out of Scotty 2 Hotty.
Well, he enters the ring and it's the slowest entry. And yeah, this was I mean, as much as Kenzo Suzuki fell into that heel foreigner territory, Muhammad Hassan was the poster boy for foreign heels.
So bad.
The heat that he drew as a wrestler, just absolutely insane. But he gets in the ring. He's surrounded by the 8 wrestlers, and the first one to lay the boot in, good old Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And they dogpile him. They literally, this is like a gangland initiation where they just beat the living piss out of him, and then he's eventually thrown out of the ring. And yeah, poor Scott had the misfortune of coming in, I think he was like 14th or something like that. And yeah, Hassan sneak attacks him and beats him up. And then Scotty 2 Hotty enters that little group of wrestlers who never got into the ring, so therefore have never been eliminated from a Royal Rumble. So Scotty 2 Hotty should have been in that title match at WrestleMania 21.
Triple threat, Scotty 2 Hotty, Batista, and yeah, that'd have been good. Booker T eliminates somebody else from the totally forgot this guy existed pile, Orlando Jordan, and Luther Reigns at the same time, before doing a spinneroonie in the middle of the ring and getting caught and eliminated himself.
Yeah, that was a good spot. Absolutely great spot.
Rene Dupree enters. Again, somebody who kind of slips in and out of the memory a little bit for me from this wrestling standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely come back into the forefront with a friend of the show, James, and the Cafe de Rene. One interesting point is another member of that Cafe de Rene team, Paul London, he's actually in this Rumble as well. So we get to see kind of like a meeting of that podcast team. 18 years before it actually happened, which is
it's quite cool. My lasting thought about Rene Dupree in this Rumble, though, there's 2 things. One, Well, I suppose 3 in a way. The guy looks fantastic.
Yeah, it was a stud. Absolutely,
yeah.
was a stud.
Totally. I don't like the dog at all. That
Mm-hmm.
poor dog, all that noise, the flashing lights, and being dragged around by I didn't like that. And Taz pisses me off with the whole "I'm a Frenchman, I'm a Frenchman. Look at me doing the French tickler. I'm a Frenchman." That needs to get in the bin, doesn't it?
There's another one as well. When he's eliminated, you see his arse.
There is that.
His spandex rides up quite high, and you get to see the French arse.
The French
Le Derriere.
There you go. Simon Dean, another one from the pile of what the fuck, but he comes down.
This was
funny.
This should be an entrant in the Hall of Fame. It's such a terrible gimmick, but he made the best of it. Poor Nova, he absolutely made the best of it, doing his little warm up on the outside of the ring,
his squats.
He kind of telegraphed his elimination though, which is it could have gone better because he finally gets in the ring, and then I think it's Shawn Michaels who's next, and he essentially eliminates Simon Dean after mocking his jumping jacks or whatever.
Those moments I loved, mind.
Yeah, they're funny. They are funny.
Michaels eliminates Simon Dean and does jokingly does the squats he was doing, and then Jericho eliminates Dupree and does that little French jumping back and forth thing that Taz loves so much in his own way as well. Those I enjoyed.
Yeah, the one thing that took a bit of a bad turn for me was they focused so much on Simon Dean and Shawn Michaels that you almost missed Edge eliminating Eddie Guerrero. And the camera just comes back to like where Edge is doing the dance of Eddie Guerrero, the shuffle, just to like mock him. But yeah, that was a fun moment.
Yeah, you almost miss it visually, but I don't think you can miss it with the audio because the crowd boo the crap out of the place when Guerrero.
Yeah, and kind of like I said at the beginning, you get the feeling because Benoit and Eddie Guerrero are so linked. I mean, the WrestleMania previous, they ended the show. And for Eddie to just go out in the middle of the pack to no kind of like fanfare or no kind of build, it was a bit of a damp squib, I suppose. It's one of the downers of this Rumble.
Yeah, I think so. Taz annoys me here as well. He starts.
There's a theme, I feel.
Yeah, he starts almost digging at Jim Ross a little bit, saying, "Oh, he wasn't in here long, was he? Say it, JR. Say he was quicker than a hiccup. Oh, say slobber knocker, JR." It's like, I'll just fuck off, Taz.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dickhead. Shawn Michaels is being set up for a massive match at WrestleMania with Kurt Angle. Angle comes into the ring here, absolutely on fire, before he's eliminated really quickly by Shawn. But Angle was in the match for only a couple of minutes. But how good did he look?
37 seconds.
But how good did he look in those 37 seconds?
Yeah. So he had a match earlier in the card.
Yes.
He was pinned by, I think, JBL. And he was not a happy bunny. So he wasn't actually meant to be in the Rumble. He stole Nunzio's spot and basically threatened Nunzio that if he wants to fight over his number, he can. So Nunzio kind of like backs off because Kurt was a powder keg. So he comes in full of absolute piss and vinegar, suplexes pretty much everyone in the ring, angle slams to everyone, and it's Shawn Michaels. He avoids the angle slam, but he gets caught in an ankle lock, but then he's able to roll out and then hit Sweet Chin Music and Kurt Angle's out, and he is fuming, absolutely fuming about it.
He is indeed. Jonathan Coachman comes to the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he was being a dickhead kind of backstage interviewer at this time, but what a waste of a spot.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. But after Coachman, we get Kurt Angle returning. He runs into the ring completely out of the blue, attacks Shawn Michaels, bloodies him up, gets shot at Michaels, and it then leads on to their WrestleMania contest and some fantastic TV in the build-up. Shawn pretending to be a cameraman. We've covered it on this show before. I think I gave that a 10. It's one of my favorite matches. I loved it.
Yeah, and he attacks Shawn Michaels with the ring steps, and when he's beating Shawn Michaels up on these ring steps, there's some graffiti that has been put on the back of the ring steps, and it kind of looks like boobs. Kind of looks like someone's drawn some boobs on the back of the ring steps.
Brilliant. Speaking of boobs, number 23, Viscera comes out, and
how can you
large
miss out?
Man.
How can you miss out the original Evolution member, Mark Jindrak?
Okay, Mark Jindrak came out as well. Yeah. I mean, he looked ripped as well, didn't he?
I mean, he was the reflection of perfection. Let's not forget.
There you go. Yeah, Viscera came out, and I'm thinking Viscera in 2005. I don't really remember that. Is this when he had that whole thing with Lillian Garcia?
No, that was when he was Big Daddy V.
Right.
No, this was this. I feel he was brought back to put over John Cena.
Yeah,
because Viscera has always been one of the wrestlers where it takes 5-10 wrestlers to eliminate him, but he's eliminated by John Cena on his own. There's a couple of spots where John Cena is made to look superhuman. I mean, it leads to Super Cena. I mean, this is obviously very early in Cena's WWE career, but you can tell that he was going to be a big star. The kind of build that they give him.
Yeah, I mean, Cena's virtually next out. I mean, well, Paul London, as you mentioned earlier, arrives as well, and I got a nice kick out of that because I always liked Paul London. I always enjoyed his matches and so on. He was always.
If only he didn't smile in that Vince McMahon segment, what could he have done in the company?
Yeah, he wrestled. I think I've told the story before, but he wrestled in Gloucester. He and Brian Kendrick. It was an incredible card at the Leisure Centre down here. We had Tanahashi was here. AJ Styles was the IWGP champion. He wrestled in the main event, and loads of talent on that show. And afterwards, of course, there's like a meet and greet or whatever. And we went over and spoke with Paul London. And I wanted to speak a little bit about wrestling or maybe try and get something signed. But he was just absolutely fascinated with my Sebastian Bach from Skid Row t-shirt and wanted to talk to me about when I'd seen him live and so on. So that... Yeah, brilliant memories. A real nice fellow. Whenever when we spoke to him, he was great. But then here comes John Cena to a huge pop. The crowd love him. That United States Spinner Championship belt he is sporting.
I mean, it gets a lot of grief now, but at the time, that was a cool fucking belt.
The US Spinner belt I really like.
Yeah.
The WWE Spinner title.
Yeah. I think I do prefer the US over the WWE Spinner, but I think I like the WWE Spinner belt more because of how it ended up being customized for other wrestlers. When you got the Rated R one, that was really good. The Miz one where the WWE was upside down. But yeah, that US Spinner belt was badass at the time.
That was cool.
Now it's tacky, but it was badass at the time.
I like the Doctor of Thugonomics entrance theme as well. I always get a kick out of hearing that.
Yeah.
After we get this absolute, let's be honest, megastar come to the ring, he is followed at number 26 by the exact opposite of that because we see Gene Snitsky, which is never something I enjoy. I'm not going to lie.
And if you do get time, go back and watch the Snitsky segment before the Rumble where he has a conversation with Harden Rack, who he was on the card. He was having a casket match with the Undertaker.
Yes,
and it's the most awkward conversation between two wrestlers that you will ever see. It's cringe inducing.
Not good. His elimination of Paul London was quite good though, because London sold the crap out of it. He hits him with a clothesline on the apron.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
Paul London was an amazing wrestler. Let's not beat around the bush, but that clothesline off the ring apron and it turns Paul inside out, to where he does essentially a 270, nearly a 360, and lands face first on the floor. Brilliant spot.
He makes Snitsky look fantastic with that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Kane arrives and choke slams everybody, especially
Pretty
Rey
much
Mysterio.
everybody.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio one-handed gets ridiculously high.
Because at this time, Kane's got a boo-boo on his arm.
Right. Okay.
So everyone gets a two-handed choke because obviously they're bigger guys. He has to kind of lift him up. But Ray, he's only a little bloke, so he doesn't need to use second arm. He just lifts Ray up and just destroys him. And then he tosses out Jindrak as well. And then Coach, who has been quite wily with his ring time, he did the classic road dog move where he basically wrapped himself around the bottom rope for a lot of the time. And he only snuck out to throw the odd blow. I think he hits Benoit once, but he comes out to hit Kane, and that's almost a big mistake because he's almost going to get killed, and he's saved by Snitsky. Absolutely saved by Snitsky, who then beats up Kane.
Yeah, indeed. And then Batista arrives. And
the crowd are mental for him.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I mean, we're going to get to the finish very, very soon. We're virtually there now, but it's a funny one for me because Batista. My memories of this are that the crowd are fully behind Batista. They want him to see Triple H and Evolution the way that we see them, and his turn is coming, so to speak. And I remember it being fantastic TV. And here he gets a really positive reaction. But I mean, when we get to that point, we'll talk about it there. But at the end of the show, when his arms are being raised by the referees and so on, it's not quite as positive in comparison to what John Cena's getting, I think. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Number 29 is Christian with Tyson Tomko. Great entrance theme there for Christian. That's brilliant.
Another one that you need to go back and look at the backstage segments, because he has a bit of a skit with John Cena. And he says that he could beat Cena in a rap battle. And there's one point which is just absolutely hilarious every time you see it. He asks Tomko to give him a beat, and Tomko just says no. And just stands there, just stone face while Christian tries to rap at John Cena. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. Number 30 was Ric Flair. I had no idea Flair was in this Rumble. I couldn't remember this.
Well, I did, because I watched the backstage promo where his number got stolen from Eddie Guerrero.
So I got a bit of a kick out of Flair's music hitting because I'm a big Flair mark. Obviously, maybe not so much nowadays, but there we go. We've got 8 people in the ring still. With when all the entrants have come in, there's 8 of them in there, which is quite a substantial amount when you consider how Rumbles tend to go. And Benoit is still there, who was number 2 into the Rumble, and the coach is still there as well, which takes it, the shine off a touch,
maybe. A little bit, yeah.
But we see the kind of story they're trying to tell here as well, because the Evolution members work together, don't they? Flair and Batista are working together to beat people up and eliminate them. Batista's doing a lot of the heavy lifting and Flair's eliminating them. And then Flair randomly grabs Batista and goes to throw him out.
Well, he botches it as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it works quite as well as it was meant to, but it's just more kind of wrinkles to the story that we're getting of Batista and Evolution coming to an end. It's happened all the way through the show. There's been multiple spots where Batista's been backstage and Triple H is kind of running the rule to him, saying that he has to go through the match with Triple H, and Batista saying, no, I've got to go and draw my number. And they're getting angry and kind of face to face. And Ric Flair's playing like the mediator. And then when Batista does draw his number, there's a kind of like a play for where his services will go after the Rumble. So yeah, it's very interesting how they're playing this kind of a breakup of Evolution, and then Ric Flair obviously trying to eliminate him. Yes, we know that there are no friends in the Royal Rumble, But it's telling Batista that, yeah, these guys don't have your best interests at heart.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really clever storytelling, I think. Edge does eliminate Flair not long after that. So again, it's really cleverly done for me with the storytelling, because we don't get to see Batista and Flair have any kind of conflict or anything. So it works quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just enough of a seed planted, but without giving away the whole farm.
Yeah. Your final four are Edge, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Batista.
Again, that is Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
it's literally
huge.
all. I mean, I don't think it's Cena's not in the Hall of Fame yet, is it? But it's literal Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. Very quickly whittles down though to our final two, which is John Cena and Batista, and the crowd are loving this. And even now, looking back in 2023, looking back all these years, it feels a big deal. And I can remember watching it and thinking this is a big deal, and they're making 2 stars in front of us here.
Yeah,
these guys.
It's mental for a Royal Rumble. Usually, it's the person winning the Royal Rumble tends to be a relatively big star. Now, these are 2 upper mid card level wrestlers.
Yes,
who by the end of the year will be main event stars.
Yeah, it's good to see. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. We get a few, teases of the FU or the attitude adjustment, as it became known from Cena, a Batista bomb attempt, and all this sort of stuff. But then we get the botched finish, Magsy, don't we?
Yes.
Do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so it was essentially an attempt at the Batista bomb. Cena was meant to go over the ropes. Batista was apparently meant to kind of like almost skin the cat, where he keeps hold of the ropes, but he's unable to. I mean, Batista's a big sweaty bloke anyway, so he doesn't get the
very
grip.
sweaty as well.
Yeah, and unbelievably, these 2 actually do hit the floor pretty much at the same time. I mean, we've had draws and ties before in the Royal Rumble, but we've never had the camera angle to definitively prove what had happened. Where this one, it's front and center, and these 2, there's a hair between them, and yeah, this goes very wrong very, very quickly. You can see the panic in the guys around the ring getting involved, and you can almost hear Vince at Gorilla screaming at these referees to say this needs sorting out. So you see, I think it's Jack Dawn saying Batista won from Raw. Then Jimmy Carderas says that Cena won. So I think they actually played it off really well to make this almost feel like it was supposed to happen. So that, I mean, you've got to give props to everyone involved in that for not absolutely shitting the bed and it being a damp squib of an ending, because I think this actually makes the ending feel a little bit better. It's unique. You remember this Royal Rumble because of this. Would it be as memorable if it was just a Batista winning straight off the bat? I don't think it would be. And then we get the best thing that ever happened in a Royal Rumble ever. So Carlos actually reminded me of a story that Edge has told on an interview. So Edge was the last person eliminated before these final 2. And you can see he's kind of like crawling on the floor when Cena and Batista are fighting. And he's still not out of the ringside by the time this draw happens. And he's crawling his way backstage when Vince comes storming out of Gorilla. And he says in this interview, he saw Vince and he knew that something had gone terribly wrong, that this was not the Mr. McMahon character, this was angry Vince. So he quickly kind of got out of the way. So Vince comes power walking down to the ring, visibly angry, like properly angry.
Fuming.
He throws his jacket on the floor. He's slides into the ring, and in his temper, you can see where he kind of catches his knee on the ring apron, tries to stand up, and both of his quads just rip apart from the bone. So he ends up kind of, and if you look at our picture, you can see it all in frame by frame. His knees buckle. He ends up sitting in the ring, and it's so odd. It's so odd because he's still shouting at these wrestlers, what the hell's gone wrong? Shouting at the referees. And this guy's leg muscles have literally come away from the bone. And he's just no-selling it like an absolute champ, screaming at these wrestlers. And then we get a little bit of playing up to the crowd from Batista and from Cena. They both end up throwing each other over the ropes and kind of showing it off to the crowd. And then word gets from Vince to Fink that Vince has ordered the match to restart. The camera kind of pulls away. Vince crawls out of the ring and he's like led up the entrance aisle. And it was then I realized, and I've never picked up on this before, Fink says the match had to restart.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, what are we getting, Benoit and Guerrero back?
Exactly. Why didn't that happen?
Yeah.
This match
the whole
didn't,
thing again.
Yeah, it didn't restart. It continued.
Yeah.
And it lasted, what, 30 seconds maybe? Both of
they're
them went for the
time as well, mind.
Yeah. So both went.
Yeah,
both of them went for the finishers. Batista got the spinebuster, and then it was a simple, quick elimination, and Batista won the Rumble.
Yeah, indeed. A couple of quick things. For me, this is where we saw the difference in the crowd reactions, because the SmackDown referees are holding Cena's arms up and the crowd are cheering. It's a bit more mixed when Batista's arm gets raised.
But Cena, you could tell Cena was going to be the guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. And I think there's a little moment in this as well that I've never noticed before. Maybe it's because I'm older, I don't know. But when you're looking at the people in the ring when this is going on, before Vince arrives and then as Vince arrives, people are obviously stood around thinking, shit, what do we do next? And John Cena is so professional. He's playing to the crowd. He's interacting with the referees. He's doing even just little looks to the audience, whatever. Dave Batista looks like a deer in headlights. He's like, shit, I don't quite know what to do here.
Yeah.
And then when the match actually restarts, you can almost hear John Cena, I think you can at certain moments, calling the finish, do this, throw me out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so
even at this young age,
yeah,
he was a ring general. And these two came up at relatively the same time as well, didn't they? They were part of that OVW kind of alumni. So it just goes to show that Cena got wrestling at a young age. And he, as good as Batista ended up being, he wasn't on Cena's level at that time.
No, definitely not. We both said it was a pleasant surprise, Magsy, from what we remembered at the start of our review. Out of 10, what have you got, my friend?
Yeah, I think this was, like I said, there was enough uniqueness in this to make it stand out from other Rumbles. And I'm actually surprised I haven't gone back to watch it a lot more. I think the Vince quads explosions just take over this Rumble. But if you kind of cut that out, the stuff with Muhammad Hassan is fun. Daniel Puder getting his wrestling chops is pretty
quite
good.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and the fact it's only 55 minutes. I'm not a massive fan of the 90 seconds between people, but this Rumble is so well booked, it flies by. Absolutely flies by. So it works for me in this instance. So I think this is low key one of the better Rumbles. So I'm going to say this is a 9 for me.
Oh wow, okay, that's quite high. I've got 8. I was 7.5, 8. I thought it was really, really good, and so surprised by how good it was. Yeah, I think 8 is fair enough. But yeah, okay, interesting. There we go. So then, Mr. Mags, where shall we go next week, or where would you like to go next week? Vote allowing.
Okay, so I think we can safely say where where the consensus is that we should go to WrestleMania and finish this storyline. Is there a point to watching 2/3 of one of the best storylines that they had in 2005? But I also want to hedge my bets and actually give the fans of this show something to vote for, because we kind of screwed them last week. It was a bit,
mate.
I mean, the CWF screwed the CWF, to be fair. So I want to hedge my bets and bank on you picking the main event of WrestleMania 21, Triple H versus Batista. But I'm gonna hedge my bets and say I want to go for Triple H versus Batista. But at WrestleMania 35, when we got Give Me What I Want Batista, the blue glasses, red glasses Batista. So yeah, I'm going to go for Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania 35.
Interesting. And that is a match that I obviously watched when it happened, but I have not seen since. So that will be interesting. Okay. Did that end up being no DQ as well, or something like that?
I cannot, for the life of me, remember the storyline. All I know is that Batista screamed "Give me what I want" multiple times because he forgot his lines of his promo.
Yeah.
So
see, I'm going to disappoint in a way. I've not gone main event of WrestleMania 21, Magsy.
So I'm now, before you say yours, I'm switching mine up. I'm going for the main event of WrestleMania 21, Triple H versus Dave Batista. Then
is that right?
Yeah, I'm switching it.
But maybe you don't want to switch it. We'll find out in a sec. Because
No,
I'm not going that far ahead. I'm looking at.
Let me roll that back a little bit. Then I'll roll that back again.
Okay, my memories of this storyline are exactly that, the story, as opposed to the in-ring content. We may be pleasantly surprised, as we were of the Rumble, if we look at the WrestleMania match in a future time or a future show. So maybe that's something to bear in mind for another occasion. But I'm looking at it from a storyline standpoint. I'm going to bend the rules a little bit and take a page out of your rule-breaking book, Mr. Mags. And I would rather go back and look at a segment and a storyline moment than a match itself. I would like to go.
It's the one I'm thinking.
I would like to go to the 21st of February 2005 edition of Monday Night Raw, when Batista has to make his decision between going to SmackDown or to take on JBL or facing Triple H for the world title. And you have the two clipboards with the names on the back for the contracts and all that sort of stuff. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
You get the backstage where Triple H and Ric Flair are overheard talking.
Exactly. I would like to have a look at that. I mean, that's the segment I'm putting forward, but I think we'll touch upon the story itself as well, because it was very, very well done, wasn't it? If that selection wins.
I will happily go with Give Me What I Want Batista, because from what I remember of the match, it wasn't great. So I would rather keep this storyline going. And it's not often we do that. We don't often go all the way through a storyline. So give us what we want, CWF, and vote SAR.
Vote SAR.
Oh, that felt dirty.
That sounded weird, to be fair. That sounded weird. So those are your options for this week's poll. Which one are we going for, Mags? WrestleMania 35?
WrestleMania 35, right. Batista versus Triple H.
Or the continuation of this storyline, Batista Evolution. Which way does he go? SmackDown, Raw, whatever.
Batista the 21st. Makes his choice.
But the 21st of February, 2005, Monday Night Raw. Bloody fantastic TV. Those are your options for this week's poll. They will be up on the Chain Wrestling Twitter account later in the week, and you can find that at chain_wrestling there. Make sure you vote, retweet, and all that good stuff. Magsy, where can people find you, I guess, online?
So I've retweeted quite a few things today. So you may catch me on my Twitter at PodFartherMags, not Podfarmer. That's in honor of my chickens. And I forgot to change it. Or you can find me on TikTok, where you will see multiple chicken videos where my chickens give inspirational quotes and tell chicken-based jokes for the people.
Amazing.
And that's at Mags All Pods.
Awesome stuff. Anything I'm involved in, as always, you can find via the network that carries this show, and that's SJP World Media. So that's on all your podcast players, platforms, and providers. Make sure you check us a follow, a subscribe, and all that good stuff. On Twitter and Facebook as well, at SJP World Media. But most importantly, you can find this show itself on Twitter and Facebook and all the other places, etc., 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 at @chain_wrestling. That's at @chain_wrestling. Make sure you're following and retweeting, getting involved in a non-wrestling topic, and all that awesome stuff, because we bloody love you, and this show would not exist if it was not for you.
Absolutely.
There we go. Magsy, I'm off now to do something I should have done potentially last week and watch Spring Stampede 2000 because my interest has been piqued.
Don't. Honestly, it's a bad pay-per-view.
Fair enough. I'll see you next week, my friend.
I have to click the video, yeah, and I weren't even set up for that. Goodbye, folks.